Martial arts. Mixed martial arts. How do we like our martial? We like a mix.
Damn.
Casey, the spirit of E. Casey Leiden just jumped through me. I don't know what's going on, but
Whoa.
UFC Rio. I don't know how loud that was. If that was like ridiculously loud, I apologize. But thank you for joining us for the UFC Rio live preview show here at MMAfighting.com. I am Mike Heck, and joining me is the co-host, co-matchmaker, and on to the next one, fellow black t-shirt wearing best friend of mine, Alexander King. He's got the Austin 316 t-shirt on.
Why not? Why not? Why not? Yeah, I don't know. Totally uncoordinated, guys. I don't know why my best friend and I are both wearing black shirts. It seems a little grim. We probably should have worn something a little more festive for, a little trip down to Rio de Janeiro. But maybe we'll save it for the post-fight show, Mike. Maybe the post-fight show, we break out the yellow and the green and the gold and, really break out the colors. But, yeah, I don't know. We're a little more subdued here, I guess. I don't know. Total coincidence, guys. This doesn't mean anything. People are going to tune in the middle, Mike, and think something went wrong. I'm like, no, we just both chose to wear black shirts today independently. Great job in the intro. We still want to keep that energy, right? Come to these shows, Mike. And I think if anyone is capable of carrying on that legacy of the great EKC, then yeah, who better than you? Who better than Mike Heck? Is what I say.
I mean, I will do my best, but thank you all for joining us. It's been a busy day. I got to talk to Yuri Prohashka today, which is always just. It's like getting in an actual fist fight because there's such an adrenaline rush when you're talking to a guy like Yuri. And then at some point you have to let the man go back to his life. And then there's just like a dump of adrenaline when you're talking to a guy like Yuri. But then I got to talk to Gable Stevenson, who's going to be fighting at Dirty Boxing. So it's been a very busy day. But AK, you are our weigh-in guru, and it appears a lot happened at weigh-ins today. Walter Walker was pissed off because the real main event of UFC Rio is no more. The heavyweight clash between brothers, Walter Walker and Mo Usman. Walter Walker weighs in, talks a whole bunch of noise about Muhammad Usman. And then we had a fighter missed by 8 pounds, AK. Ugh, 8 freaking pounds. And the fight is happening. And based on reports, 50% of the purse plus some other things possibly happening. This is wild, AK. What was that like when you heard 144 pounds on the scale for Simon Oliveira?
Well, our own Guillermo Cruz, of course, is in Rio covering this event. He was the one bringing us the live stream for anyone who tuned in to the official weigh-ins this morning. And he actually, I think he at first didn't even catch that it had happened because there wasn't like a big, I remember I was watching, there wasn't a big like kerfuffle. So I think he at first thought that, John Gooden's down there reading the weights. I think he thought that John Gooden had just read it wrong. Because I think he messaged me and he's like, oh, no one seemed to react to John Gooden reading it wrong or something. I'm like, yeah, I don't know if he read it wrong. And of course I was working on writing that up. I just went to double check UFC.com. They had already listed Simon Oliveira's weight as 144. So I was like, yeah, this is this was a real thing that happened. This wasn't no error. I have no error on the part of people. Sorry, we're doing the broadcast. The fighter, though, boy, huge gaffe. I mean, 8 pounds is just crazy. It's been a long time since we've seen Simon Oliveira. I think it's been over a year, well, almost a year. I think almost a year or something like that since we've seen Simon. Or maybe I'm getting him mixed up with someone else. Either way, 0-3 was probably the more important number here. Oliveira got signed to Off Contender Series some time ago. This is obviously a very important fight. I mean, winner. If he had made weight and lost, he was going to get released. If he wins now, I still don't even see how that saves his job. It's a little strange to me that they would even work so hard to keep this fight on. We say this a lot with cards that are like, already 12. I know they lost, like we said, they lost Walker and Usman, so maybe don't lose more fights, but it would still be an 11 fight card, even if this fight fell off. So, I don't know. I don't know the inner workings of the UFC, why they're so insistent on like doing whatever they can to duct tape cards together as possible. Like I always imagine they book more than 10 fights with the expectation that, 1 or 2 fights will drop off. But, good for Luan Lacerda, I guess, supposedly getting a large chunk of Oliveira's purse, whatever that may be. And of course, I'm sure he wants a fight and he wants a shot at a win bonus. So there is like a lot of incentive for Lacerda to take this. But Mike, do you think it was a little strange that we just had this happen and we learned pretty quickly the fight was accepted? I think there was only like 10 minutes of negotiations or something before Guy tweeted that the fight was going to happen and we didn't have the purse penalty right away. But just the other day we published that story from Damon's interview with Yana Santos, right? Talking about, she said she felt very pressured to fight Macy Chiasson because of what she'd heard, what had been said to her in the past, in a previous fight where an opponent had missed weight. Damon brought up the Leslie Smith incident in his write-up, of course, where she didn't want to fight Aspen Ladd and was just paid her money and told to leave. So I don't know if it's a coincidence, but the timing is very fishy. And I don't know if Luan, wanted to say, hey, I'm not fighting 8 pounds heavier. And maybe that's not really an option. Maybe it's only option in the most literal sense of the word, but I don't know, Mike. Fishy stuff here?
I mean, they would have been fine if we lost this fight, honestly. But I understand it's not like Wonder Boy, right? Like Wonder Boy's fighting Michelle Pereira. Michelle Pereira misses weight, right? And then it's like, well, I'm not fighting this dude because he missed weight. And the UFC's really pissed. And Wonder Boy's like, I don't care if the UFC's pissed because I need to win a fight. Like, I potentially could be fighting for a title shot. Like, I'm still alive in this conversation for that card. And, there's a whole bunch of back and forth. And it took a long time for Wonder Boy to get paid and for the UFC and Wonder Boy and his team to kind of get back on track. They're fine now, but not everybody is a Wonder Boy, a guy who's main evented pay-per-views and fought for belts and has headlined multiple cards and makes 6 figures to show. Like, Luan Lacerda is not that guy. So I understand the trepidation. He doesn't want to lose his job. He doesn't want to lose his spot on the roster, even though his opponent kind of screws him here. But he's getting a bunch of extra money, so I guess at the end of the day, it kind of works out. It's all real silly, and they should have just paid Lacerda all of his money and just let him not fight. But
Mike, how is this not 100% of your purse at this point? And also, isn't the purse penalties are usually just the show money, right? It's never show and win. It's rarely show and win money, right? So this should be 100% of the show money, right? Instead of just supposedly half. It's just not enough. This is crazy, and this wouldn't even be allowed in so many states in America. If this fight were happening in the United States, there's commissions that just they have a limit of oh, well, if the difference is more than X amount of pounds, it's an automatic. We have guidelines that say this is an automatic bout is off. So it's ridiculous that this is even happening. I see a couple of questions here. I just want to read real quick. Joseph Boza asking, is this a weak card, and that's why Oliveira versus Lacerda is still on? I don't think it has anything to do with it. I don't think Oliveira versus Lacerda is making or breaking. I don't think it's oh, they lost this card. Oh, now this card's unwatchable. Oh, it's back on. Okay, no, this is fine. The card's fine. No, that's nothing to do with it. And Master of the Universe, Mikey wants to know, are we fans of the old school scales, or do you prefer digital? Are digital flawed? I'm a fan of old school all the way, Mike. I don't know about you. I want fighters to be able to play around with 0.05 of an ounce or whatever. Guys, the whole spirit of weigh-ins is just to make sure people aren't a crazy amount of weight apart from one another.
Make sure they're not Simon Oliveira.
Make sure they're not Simon.
I don't care what scale you use.
Exactly.
He was missing by 8 pounds today. So
yeah, exactly. I even think and again, I'm not a fighter. This matters more if obviously you're a fighter. I even think half a pound over is crazy, but you have to set limits somewhere, right? Because if you say, oh, well, half a pound over is fine, then someone will say, well, why not 0.7? Okay, and they say 0.7 is fine. Well, why not 0.8? So I get it. I understand why there's limits, but I do like the fact that there is kind of a margin of error with the old school, because remember, guys, when they did that stint with digital, there was a lot of misses. I think it coincided with sort of the new morning weigh-ins as well, so there was that kind of overlap. But also, yeah, when you use digital, it sucks. You can't get away with 0.1, 0.2, and on a digital, usually, especially if you're Jeff Mullen, he sees a slight point. He's slamming that thing home. He's saying your weight and getting you off the scale. So, but you can't do that with digital. You can't. Digital doesn't lie. And guys, we want a little bit of deception, I feel when it comes to just making sure fights happen.
Well, that fight's happen. I mean, we'll see. We'll see if it happens, because I have a feeling there's some other. I think Guy updated the post that maybe there's a weigh-in clause tomorrow as well.
Yes.
That he can't weigh more than 155. So if he's 156, the fight's off.
This is also assuming, do you think it's I always say this because I always want to give the fighters the benefit of the doubt, Mike. Is this a health? There might have been a health issue, right? There has to be. It can't just be a guy who was well, I'm not within 3 pounds. Screw it. I'm not even going to bother trying. And then just rehydrating. Actually, now that I say it out loud, that's probably way more likely. But
okay, come on.
I don't know. So I have a feeling I couldn't believe this got cleared to fight. To still go as a catch weight when it happened. And I think by tomorrow, I still think there's a chance we just see it getting canceled for whatever reason. Either like you said, Mike, he misses that new threshold, or again, there's something wrong with him. Like he just couldn't cut the weight and he's not doing well. But the card will be fine, guys, if we lose Lacerda Oliveira, and hopefully Lacerda if that happens, gets rebooked soon.
Yeah, this overall, man, like this card, it is pretty weak, honestly. Like it's not very good.
Yeah, but this fight isn't making a difference. It's not like this fight.
Like, no.
Okay.
No, of course not.
Okay.
The top 3 fights are all good, right? Like Oliveira, Gamrot, Figgy, Montel,
awesome.
Luque, and Joel Alvarez, all good fights. And there are things that could be fun along the way. Like Lucas Almeida, Michael Aswell will probably be somewhat fun. Bia Mesquita making her debut. Yeah, we're interested in that. And there's probably like some fights that'll over deliver along the way, but man, coming off of 320 and how fun that was, and like the stakes and all the questions and the burning questions heading in, it's just not here, man. Like outside of the top 2, really, like I'm interested to see Alvarez at 170. So I am interested in that, but there's no like big time stakes in that fight other than, well, what happens if Luque loses? And he's probably going to lose, and probably in spectacular fashion, especially with how the betting lines look right now. So yeah, this is not a great fight night, AK.
Mike, it's really for the local fans, right? I mean, I feel like I will say, I think
is this better than Perth on paper or worse?
I think better. No,
slightly.
I think they did a good job stacking the deck here. I will say Perth they did too. Didn't all the Australian, New Zealand area fighters win, or am I crazy?
I think they did, right?
They
or
did.
Maybe what? Oh no, Jake Matthews lost.
Yes, maybe on the main card. Oh, that wasn't the main card, but I think they did well. If I recall, I believe, the Anzac region fighters did well, and I think they've done a good job here. I'm looking at all the fights. I'm pretty sure most of the Brazilian fighters are pretty heavily favored. There's a couple of competitive matchups on here for sure, and then I could end in a real bummer, Mike, if Gamrot pulls off an upset. That will be tough to watch. But overall, I think they did the right thing. Though, yeah, Montel Jackson, Deiveson Figueiredo also competitive. But yeah, we'll get to that, guys. We'll get to that.
I have to say, I think Oliveira and Gamrot have done the best they could to make this fun, especially Gamrot. Shout out to him, because he is just public enemy number 1. That video that Guy took before the open workout, where he's coming down the elevator, like the see-through elevator, and they're just booing the shit out of him. And he's just in the elevator, like, come on, baby, bring the booze. And he's just like living the heel lifestyle right now. I love this so much. And Oliveira's just being Oliveira. Like, he's just kind of getting the same questions and all the affiliate interviews he's doing. He's like, I'm not trying to retire. Like, I just want to go in there and have a fight, all that. Like, but Gamrot is doing such a great job. It's like, it's made this a little more fun for me, right? Like, how much has the fight week helped build this fight for you personally between Oliveira and Gamrot?
Yeah, I wonder how much the original opponent, Rafael Fiziev, would have done on selling this fight. Which is Rafael Fiziev, like he's actually got like he's got a humor to him. Like I like Fiziev a lot. I think he actually has his own kind of his own quiet charisma. I don't know if he would embrace the heel role as much as Gamrot has. Gamrot, if you guys follow him on social media, like he's pretty good at like trying to get under other fighters' skin and call people out and just keep his name out there. And at least like plant seeds to potentially like blossom into future beefs, right? I mean, there was a while there where we were just waiting for him to get a fight. So, he couldn't commit, he's not going to commit to calling out this person, but he made himself available. And lo and behold, boom, he gets a former UFC champion. And I think he's aware he kind of struck gold here, right? I know there's other names in the division he would have been interested in fighting for sure. But I don't know if maybe it's because I don't know if he ever expected this Dope Bronx opportunity to fall in his lap. But here we go. And he jumped on it right away. And yes, I do think he's done a great job of selling this fight for anyone who's like on the fence of like, oh, like, am I going to tune into this one? I feel like, Mike, as you mentioned before, at least pop in for the like last 3 fights, because Card starts at 4. Last two fights will be popping on around like 8 o'clock, 8:30, and like, you know, whatever you're doing. Maybe you've just had dinner, you come home, enjoy some great fights. You still, you know, you can still go out and do something on Saturday and check these out. So yeah, I'm intrigued, man. I'm intrigued. And the good thing about Gamrot selling it like this is he knows if he wins, like he's legitimately probably going to fight for a title next, or at least be one win away. But he's right on that short list. And it seemed like that wasn't going to happen after that. You know, he suffered that loss to Dan Hooker, comes back and fights Ludwig Klein, but it's kind of like a weird situation. He gets like a main event, but only because, you know, the whole Macy Barber situation. So he's kind of in limbo. And I don't think anyone was like, wow, well, Gamrot's going to, like, you know, 1 or 2 fights away from fighting for a title. But you beat Charles Oliveira, former champion, guy who just fought for a vacant title. You could be talking Gamrot title shot finally in 2026. So he's making the most of it.
What if he loses though?
I mean, you said this is very much, he's got it. It's very much do or die, right? It's a bit cliche, but it feels like he'll be very far away. I still say I still like, well, you know, never say never. Because a guy like him, I think, is always gonna be hovering around the top 10, you know, borderline top 5, depending on who he can fight. But he'll kind of end up in Beneil Dariush territory. And that sounds like an insult, but like, you know, Beneil's had an amazing career. Put together win streaks, beaten great opponents, but never made it to that title shot. And at some point, yeah, that ship just sails on you. And Beneil is still ranked. I believe Beneil is still top 10 in the rankings, and he's been there for a long time. But it's also felt like a long time since Beneil has like realistically been in range of a title shot. So I think, yeah, the Gamrot could suffer the same fate. Doesn't fall out of the top 10 fighter for the next 2 years. But, you know, not really viewed realistically, I think, by the fans as someone has any momentum towards title shot, and obviously more so as someone who they'll try to use him to build up other upcoming lightweights.
Yeah, man, it's he's in a really big spot right here. So this is great for him to take this fight and really call for it and cement it. What about Charles Oliveira though? He is very popular, and that will get you places for a little bit, but the man wants to be a champion again. He is a very competitive cat. He would love to hold the belt again. I know he has been eyeing Max Holloway, the BMF belt, loves that idea. But if you go and lose to Mateusz Gamrot after getting brutally KO'd before, you're kind of in a tough place right now. So what happens if Charles Oliveira loses this fight, AK? What does that mean?
I think he's still closer. I think he's, like you said, that the UFC loves its past champions who can still perform. You know, depending how he loses on Saturday, if he loses again like he lost to Ilia, it's gonna raise some questions. You know, I think Ilia got a lot of credit for beating him for sure. It wasn't like one of those things where like, oh, Charles is washed. You know, Ilia just beat a washed Charles. No. You know, it was like, I think Ilia got the credit he deserved for taking out a guy who, like, yes, is, you know, maybe you know, up there in age as far as lightweights go. Obviously has a ton of mileage on him, talking about combat sports years, but has not really showed any signs of slowing down. So that was more a credit to Ilia, right? But it would be hard to shake it off if it happened again, you know, and it wouldn't retroactively, like I said, it wouldn't retroactively affect the Ilia win, but we would be like, whoa, like, let's say he gets finished or rocked again in the first round, gets, you know, TKO'd in the ground, or gets, you know, clubbed in subs, something like that. Then we're going to start asking questions if, like, the defense has always been questionable, and if the durability, whatever there was, is gone too. You're really going to be wondering, like, again, is this just a guy who has, you know, nothing but sort of big name fights to look forward to, right? Because you feel like the Holloway fight's always going to be out there, whether it has title implications or not. You feel like there's other opponents who would want to test themselves against Charles. But as far as him having control of his fate in the contender line, he at least has to not get finished again the way he did against Ilia, and the way he has against some other opponents, right? So I'm not quite as down on his chances. Like, let's say he loses a competitive decision to Gamrot. I think it'll be okay. Like, I think it'll be unfortunate for him, but I think he'll be okay. I think his star power doesn't diminish that much. But getting finished, which is a distinct possibility, it's going to put him on almost top 5, like, I hate to use the term gatekeeper, because I think if you're in the top 5, saying you're gatekeeper sounds weird, but it's almost like what we said with Gamrot. Like, Gamrot would be a gatekeeper for the top 10. Oliveira will just be holding on to that top 5 spot until the UFC can find someone who they want to take it from him.
Yeah, he's probably fighting Patty next, right? Unless they give Patty the title fight. But if they don't give Patty the title fight, kind of feel like Oliveira is like the best name to throw him in there with, right? I kind of think win or lose, that's what they're going to do. And it's kind of a bummer because I do want to see Oliveira Max Holloway. Like, I really want that fight at some point. But if he goes out and gets finished by Mateusz Gamrot, then I do not want to see him fight Max Holloway. That'll be tough. That'll be tough to watch. But it is a closely lined fight, AK. As a matter of fact, according to our friends at FanDuel, it is a dead pick'em. Minus 110s across the board.
Wow.
So I ask you, who wins?
Man, I gotta ride with Charles Oliveira all the way, and I love Gamrot. Like, I think Gamrot is awesome. I think he was so smart to take this opportunity. I think he matches up with Charles in a lot of ways. Like, again, he's an outstanding grappler, and if you're an outstanding grappler, then you can force Charles into some uncomfortable positions, right? It's not like his wrestling has obviously gotten so much better over the years. I still don't think it's to the point where he can just impose his will on another grappler, just take them down, get to the ground where he wants to go, show off that just legendary jiu-jitsu, those legendary submission skills. I don't think he's there. I think Gamrot has the ability to defend against that. So I think this is going to stay on the feet quite a bit. Again, there will be takedowns, but I wonder if even whoever gets one, their opponent will be pretty quick to scramble back up or at least get out of a disadvantageous position. So I'm seeing a lot of striking here. Mike, you and I talked about between the links. Should that happen, it's going to have a lot of Charles fans kind of a little bit on the edge of their seats because Gamrot doesn't get enough credit for his striking. Not only is he good technically, he's got power. Like, he really, really has good power in those hands. And that's our big fear for Charles, right? Is that all it takes is one good shot across the chin to just put him down. And again, this has been the story throughout his career. This is not us talking about like, oh, well, Charles is going to be, 36 next week, and his chin is diminished. Like, his chin from almost day one since he came to the UFC was never the sturdiest, and now it has all this wear and tear on it. So, if it's on the feet, it's scary. But I will remind people that Charles is also extremely deadly on the feet. I know we know him as a submission guy, but phase 2 of Charles, like once Charles turned 30 or whatever it is, when he really hit this run, he is dangerous as hell on the feet. He is so good, so much improved. I don't think he's lost that much of a step. So, Mike, give me Charles Oliveira by knockout, like TKO. I'm thinking like rock something, finished on the ground, not like a face planting one shot KO. Let's go round 3. I'm gonna say two fun rounds, and then it just goes nuts in the third round, and Charles puts him down.
I think Chucky knocks him out in round 2.
Oh,
I think he does. I think he does it here, man. Because everything we've talked about the last 24 hours or so is absolutely true. Gamrot is a better striker than people give him credit for. Gamrot can hang with Charles in a lot of areas. But here's the thing. Both guys are very, very hittable. And Gamrot can be cracked. We watched Dan Hooker almost kill him in their fight. And while Dan Hooker is a dog and is like death by a million punches, Charles just needs one to really end the fight. So I think Charles finishes him, man. I kind of got that feeling that we're going to get this y'all must have forgot almost Alex Pereira-like moment where we're just like, man, like we're counting this dude out. And then he's just like, oh yeah, that's why he was champion. That's why he was so good. He may not win the title again, but because he's in the best division in the history of the sport. But I think Gamrot is very hittable. So we'll see how it plays out. That's what I'm looking like. But I could be very wrong. I've been wrong a million times. And gosh darn, I'll be wrong a million more times. Co-main event, AK. Do you know what the betting odds are for Montel Jackson versus Deiveson Figueiredo?
Tell me Montel's favored.
He is favored.
Montel is a minus 275 favorite.
Way higher.
Oh, 400.
Lower. In the middle.
Okay. 350, 320.
Minus 340. Minus 340 for Montel Quick Jackson against Deiveson Figueiredo. Are you surprised by this?
No, man.
Minus 340.
No, I support it. Sorry to give my pick away so early, but yeah, man, you've been a Montel Jackson supporter for a long time. I've also been a huge fan. We've always said one of those guys, almost kind of like a Mike Davis situation, where like, gosh, if this guy could just get healthy, if you could just string together the right names, he'd be fighting for a title fight sooner rather than later. Like, he's just a very solid, complete bantamweight. He's one of the best names in the division, and it just hasn't been able to put together that run that keeps him in the forefront of fans' minds. Not like the biggest trash talker. Again, he's not one of those guys who's going out like doing a dozen interviews, all in a short period of time and just calling out this guy, calling out that guy. Like, he's kind of old school in that way. Like, that's not what Montel Jackson's going to do. So, getting an opponent like Deiveson Figueiredo was huge. Like I said, I should have gone higher when I was guessing the odds, because I do think it's a little unfair to say that Deiveson is over the hill. But boy, I mean, the bantamweight and flyweight divisions are not countries for old men, to put it, to coin the phrase, right? He is 38 at the end of this year, and his opponents just keep getting younger and faster. Montel's 33. I feel like Montel is in his prime. I don't know if he's just going to blow Figueiredo out of the water. I would probably lean towards decision here, but I think it'll be convincing. I think I think the Brazilian fans are going to be a little bit disappointed if they are kind of hoping for some vintage Deus Togueira magic, where he just gets back to his finishing ways, just takes Montel Jackson inside of a round. I think he's going to have a lot of difficulties dealing with some of Montel Jackson's techniques, certainly the speed and agility, and at this weight class, even size. Like, that's the crazy thing, is like, I think he'll be a smaller guy, Deiveson, and still not really have a speed advantage. So it's just a really, really bad matchup for him on paper.
I mean, people are very quick to count him out. I mean, look at his last losses are Brandon Moreno again, Petr Yan, and Corey Sandhagen. Mm-hmm. It's a pretty good fighters. Those are better fighters than Montel Jackson has ever faced. Every single one of them.
But are they that much better than Montel Jackson? That's the question. Better points than he's faced. Are they that much better than Montel himself?
I don't know. I guess we're going to find out. I'm so torn on this, because I feel like from a betting perspective, you have to bet on Figgy here. I feel like if you're choosing a side, you have to take the Figgy shot, with the line being this wide at plus 260 for Montel basically being... I mean, he got some decent win. Like, the Damon Blackshear win has aged incredibly well. Knocking that guy out in 18 seconds or whatever, that's crazy, because he's gone back and won some fights since then. But again, like, he's had opportunities, has to be able to cash in on them. The inactivity really stinks. Although finally, we're going to see this dude fight 5 months after his most recent fight.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Yeah,
a lot of time between now and fight night. Fingers crossed.
I think the pick is going to be Montel, because I think he's going to have some moments. And I think it is kind of fair to say that Figgy over the hill is probably not the way I would phrase it, but he is weathered, I guess is probably the right term. This dude,
certainly,
he's had 30 fights, and like every opponent he has had over the last however long. I mean, Jesus Christ, since 20... Who is like the worst opponent this guy has had? John Moraga. And that was even like, at the time, a tougher fight. Formiga, Pantoja, Elliott, Benavidez, Perez, Moreno, Font, Garbrandt, Vera, Van, Sandhagen. That's like his last 11 fights.
Damn.
That's crazy.
Moraga was on a 3-fight win streak when he fought Daves, and he had just beaten Wilson Hayes, who I think had already fought for the title, and Magomed Bibulatov, who was, oh wow, Moraga's really a forgotten guy who's like actually a really good fighter.
Yeah, Montel is the pick for me by decision, but I have no idea how that fight's gonna go, man. It's gonna be a good one.
It's gonna be a good one. Mike, I don't know if you want to move to the rest of the card, but we're doing all this odds talk, and I was going to say, like, I'm feeling pretty chalky. Like, so I think we said we're both kind of leaning. Well, if you were betting, you said you would bet Deiveson, of course. Just the value.
I take a shot. I take a shot at the value here, yeah,
of course. But as far as straight picks go, I think we're both leaning towards Montel. We're both leaning towards Charles. I guess Charles is not technically favored, like you said, a pick 'em. What does that mean? Minus 110. It means they're bonus minus 110, or it means nothing.
What's that?
For the main event for Charles, and when you say pick 'em, that's like they're both minus 110 essentially.
Yeah, or both minus 110. Okay, yeah,
right. So technically he's not favored, but outside of that, I think it's gonna be a chalky night. I'm just trying to look at the overall odds here, and I was gonna ask you, what would be your, outside of Figgy, which you just said, outside of the top 2 fights, what would be your upset pick? What's an upset pick you feel confident about? Because I think it's gonna be pretty chalky. I feel like this could be a night like 8 out of 10. Sorry, how many fights are there? There's 12 fights. I feel like it'd be like 8 out of 12, 9 out of 12 favorites win. I feel like that way. I feel like the way. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just have no feel for this card at all. But
I mean, I would say right now I have one bet on this card, and it's the answer I'm going to give you right now.
Okay.
And I don't like this, but I just want to have a little fun early on. And for some reason, this one stuck out to me. The one bet that I have is Karolina Kowalkiewicz.
Plus 410 on FanDuel right now. Massive underdog.
Dude, massive underdog. I think she could beat. I think she could beat Julia Pilastri. I really do.
Yeah.
Like Julia's like a fine fighter.
Yep.
But like Karolina's a dog, man. Like she's winning fights. She's at least hanging around in some of these. Like she lost to Gomes, but she fought her ass off in that fight. Yasmin Lucindo's really good. If she can hang around if she can win one of the first 2 rounds, she has a damn good chance of winning this fight. So that is the only bet I have on this card. I'd be a little surprised, but I think it can happen.
Oh, are you prepared for a rocky trip to Splitty City? I feel like
okay.
This is going to be a bumpy ride, Mike. It's not going to be a fun ride for you, even if you get what I'm saying. It's going to be.
Yeah. I mean, everything else, all the super chalk is.
That's really good bet, though.
Because
I feel like
a big favorite. Maybe Thomas Peterson. Could he be worth it at plus 235?
Oh, wow. With Petrino. Gosh, I don't know. That's, how I feel about those heavyweights, but like that's for me is just like take the over. What's the over on that? I feel like it should be.
Oh yeah,
I'd love to know what the over is on it.
On Petrino Peterson.
Yeah, you can still get plus to go the distance. Okay.
Over 2.5 plus 116.
Okay. All right, I'm just saying. But yeah, the Karolina, Karolina turns 40. I think next Tuesday, and you know what? Age is nothing but a number. She's in great shape. She's kept herself in amazing shape. She is a top-notch, martial arts athlete. I'm not saying that is dooming her. In fact, I wonder if the line is only so big because of the age gap. Like, is that really it? They see someone, they're just saying 27 years old versus soon to be 40. There you go, plus 400 underdog. Like, it does seem crazy. Because Pilastri, her only win in the UFC so far, a split decision over Corey McKenna.
Who's not in the UFC?
Who's not in the UFC anymore. Lost to Knudsen, lost to Lupi. Again, no shame losing to Lupi.
I think it's possible.
You've got a lot of people thinking here. I feel like you've got a lot of people thinking. She Loves the Gloves. Is KK the oldest woman on the roster? I think Angela Hill is older than her.
I believe Angela Hill is. Yeah,
I think Angela Hill is the oldest active fighter on the roster. No, maybe just the oldest female fighter.
She might be. Jose.
Anyway, yeah, it's weird. I had not even thought about that fight, Mike. Had not even thought about it. I'm looking at it now. I'm like, yeah, those odds are wide. Those odds are really wide for someone who's 1 and 2 in the UFC.
It can be done. I think it can be done. The point spread bet, someone said you should have taken the point spread. Plus 3.5, it's plus 100. To me, I'll take the juicier number there, honestly. Like, because I honestly think that Karolina could just straight up win this fight. So take a shot. Didn't put a lot on it, but it'd be fun. Angela's not 62, master of the game. How dare you?
Angela's 40 years young. She still looks fantastic. She's still performing fantastic. I hope we get a lot more fights from her and Karolina. Shout out to Karolina, because I did think there was a stretch there where like we all thought like, she's gonna retire. She came back, got some wins, and like she's good. She's still getting it done, man. So Karolina, you hang as long as health permitting. You know what, Karolina, hang around as long as you want, because you're an asset to the division.
Yes. Luque Alvarez, as you mentioned, Janata Denise, Mario Pinto on the main card. Ricardo Ramos versus Con Offley. In the featured prelim, Lucas Almeida, Michael Aswell, Jafel Filio, Clayton Carpenter, Vitor Petrino, Thomas Peterson, Arini Alexieva versus the debuting former LFA champ, Bia Mesquita, Lucas Rocha, Stuart Nicoli, why he didn't fight on UFC Perth, Stuart Nicoli is kind of beyond me. But
anyone's guess.
Pilastri, Kowalkiewicz, and then the super duper catchweight fight between Simon Oliveira and Luan Lucerda. That is UFC Rio, and that is a fight card, folks. That is certainly a fight card that is going to happen. Let's take some questions there's a lot going on. There's a fan Q&A in Brazil. And I believe once again, light heavyweight champion of the world, Alex Pereira, is an add-on to the already stacked dais, if you will. So we'll hear from the champ, Alex Pereira, as well from that Q&A, and then ceremonial weigh-ins coming up as well. So stay tuned, MMAfighting.com for all that. RS48 Super Chat. Joel Alvarez and Miktabek Oralbai are at welterweight. How far are we to see them fight against each other? Also, is Gamrot's resume the most underrated in lightweight history?
Sorry, let me see that question again.
How far are we from Joel Alvarez Miktabek Oralbai fight?
Not far. Not far. I feel like this has been suggested on to the next one on more than one occasion. Two guys who, I think are just because Miktabek had also dabbled in lightweight, right? Like he was kind of
and then he missed weight. He missed weight for both of his lightweight fights.
Yeah, and he doesn't look like a lightweight. Like again, some people don't. Some people don't look like. Well, I get it. Some people don't look like lightweights, and they can make the weight and without issue. He's not one of those guys. I mean, frankly, he's just not one of those guys. How close are we? So Miktabek's got Jack Hermanson coming up. Not far, man. Not far. I think it's a great matchup. I would love to see Oralbai and Joel Alvarez sometime early next year if they both get victories. And again, we were talking about odds before, not to get too bogged down in this again, guys. But Joel Alvarez pretty heavily favored to get through the veteran Vicente Luque. So yeah, if Oralbai does the same, then these two young gunners could be sharing the cage soon. Yeah, it's good. That's good matchmaking.
Actually, technically, Oralbai has never misweighed the UFC.
Right.
He just was very wisely saying, let's bump this up a little bit. 160, 165. Yep. So yeah, we shall see. Let's go back to some of these questions and see what we have here. Golly. Mike at AK, don't expect you to know, but was anything offered to Walter, fight move, new opponent later or tomorrow? Long shot. What's the latest that you guys know of? So don't really know a hell of a lot. I don't think he's fighting tomorrow. I'll actually be stunned at this point if he fights tomorrow because honestly, does it really matter?
Well, Mike, someone tweeted at me that he should fight Simon Oliveira. That should have been the matchup. They should have made that matchup happen. I mean, poor Luan Lacerda would have been left out in the cold. But like I said, hopefully you book him somewhere the next couple of weeks and you say, hey, Simon, listen, you wanna weigh in over one friggin' 140 pounds? How about this? We'll bulk you up and let's get you up there because that was a bad look. So yeah, man, a lot of Walter talk. I didn't know some people were so excited about seeing Walter, like just in general. I thought they only wanted the Mo Usman fight, but no, people hype on Walter. The heel hook master. Yeah,
so let's see if we can start heel hooking everybody. Joseph, win or lose, will Gamrot still be fine in the lightweight division because he took this on short notice? What would be your definition of fine?
Yeah. If you mean like job security, listen, he's nowhere near anywhere being released. Like they love him. But I think our comments stand as far as like, is he fine as far as his contender standing? It'll be difficult for him. Like I don't think they're going to frown upon it. Like I don't think it's just because of the result, just because of the loss. But lightweight is so deep, guys. Lightweight is so deep that once you start losing ground, it's really, really hard to climb back up. And again, that loss to Hooker, a competitive fight. That was not long ago. The Klein win was nice, but that Klein win just did not move the needle. I would not be surprised if you asked the average fan that they don't even remember that fight happened and that they're still thinking about the Hooker fight, which was a great fight. Because he did get back in the win column. It was just in a weird circumstance where it was just sort of a headliner by default. And so I think we agree he'll be fine no matter what, Mike. But again, that your definition of fine may vary.
He will be a ranked guy fighting somewhat ranked guys, maybe guys who are trying to climb into the rankings. But I stand by this. The UFC owes him a title shot. They made him the backup for a title fight. And then when they needed a backup, they skipped over him to bring Volkanovski in on like 10 days notice when Gamrot was the backup fighter preparing to fight Islam Makhachev. And they skipped him. So that tells me everything that I need to know about how they view him as good fighter, good quality name for the hardcore fans. But if he loses tomorrow, he will never fight for a UFC belt. And that's okay. There are great fighters who have never fought for UFC belts, and Gamrot will just be another one. And that's okay. There's a lot on the line here, but he had to do this. He had to jump on this opportunity because if he wants any chance to fight for a belt, these are the types of fights that he was kind of far away from getting, and now he has it, and he's 24 hours away from getting that opportunity. So I love the fact that he took it. I love the fact that he pushed for it, and I love the fact that Charles has taken it. So lots of Walter.
I told you, I was glancing at the comments. I'm like,
Golly.
Walter Mania, man. People are really upset. They're probably, I don't even know. I got to ask Guy. I wonder if they're just asking just refunds going out the door down at Pharmacy Arena. People are not happy, man. They want to see Walter and Mo.
Did Usman actually pop elevated test levels? I don't know.
Don't know yet. Yeah.
Again, you have to be kind of careful because the initial report was he was injured. And now a day later, the same guy who reported it's like, oh no, he was not injured. He popped. So like, there's two vastly different reasons.
And the UFC's official announcement was medical issues. So there you go, guys. You got three different stories for Mo. Was it an injury as initially reported? Is it vague medical issues? The same kind of medical issues that probably Conor McGregor was dealing with. That's got anyway. And then, or is it? Yes, I don't know. Did he fail some sort of drug test? We don't know. So all speculation for now, guys. So the reporting's out there, but And I'm not calling this person out at all. Like I said, they have some sort of sources. So we'll definitely hear more about it. But right now, nothing. We haven't locked in anything as far as confirmation.
From what you can remember, as we're approaching the end of the year, what fights do you think are fights of the year now? A lot are forgotten about, especially from early in the year.
I mean, my memory is goo. I'm the worst person to ask about this. I've got a cheat sheet though, guys. Don't worry. I'm going to my cheat sheet. So I'll have a discussion for you guys in a second.
I kind of feel like it's going to be really tough to beat Royval and Josh Van. It's going to be a very tough fight to beat.
So good. Definitely. What was my list here? Well, I mean, listen, we just saw friggin' Luna Martinetti and Vologdin, right? I mean, that was friggin' great. I don't know if it'll be number one, but right now the recency bias is like popping like crazy. Duncan Rebecki, Chris Duncan, and Mateusz Rebecki was friggin' awesome. Great fight.
Bilal and JDM.
Bilal and JDM was solid. Yeah,
Merab and Umar is one of my favorite fights of the year.
Yeah, the first Usman Nurmagomedov Paul Hughes fight, again, so good. I don't know if it'll be number one, but I think that's an example you guys are talking about where, like, if it wasn't for the rematch, people might have already forgotten it. And because of the rematch, I hope it doesn't hurt how they view the first fight, because both fights were good. The second fight was just so controversial that overshadowed what actually happened in it. So I wonder if people are just forgetting that first fight did happen this year, and it was great.
I think a lot of people love Diego Lopez, John Silva. I feel like that should be on the list. There were a lot of fighters who were like, that's the fight of the year. I don't think that's true, but it's a very good one. I could certainly see that on some lists. I think Kevin Holland, Daniel Rodriguez, for the weirdness of that fight, is going to make some lists as well. There were just some weird, goofy ass fights. I loved Yuri Prochazka, Jamal Hill. Thought that was a great fight. Yuri Khalil was really good. I mean, Yuri anybody really is just scratches your every itch. So good stuff.
Round of the year is really going to be a discussion. I mean, we're at it. We normally don't do a round of the year article on MMA Fighting, but this has just been 1 year where like
the Contender Series fight round 2 probably is the round of the year.
Nuts. I love that Yuri round the same within the span of a few days. That Yuri round 3 against I guess it wasn't as back and forth. I guess that's how obviously the round 2 was more back and forth. But seeing Yuri just turn it on, just suddenly decide like, oh, I'm just gonna go win this fight, was like insane. It was just insane.
It's very funny. You'll hear his perspective on the fight, because I told him I watched the fight like 15 times, and I was like, each round tells its own story, and he was like, yes. He gets into like,
I could hear him. I just heard Yuri's voice when you said. I could totally. I'll have to watch the video, but I have a feeling you nailed his exact like tone. Yeah.
All the things that I loved so much about that fight, I asked him about, and he like remembered it all and had like great answers for it. Like the jumping knee right hand combination from round 1. The Khalil hit him as hard as he could, so he stepped back, stumbled, and then just like screamed at himself. He talks about that. Remember that moment really well. It's just the best.
Crazy stuff.
Love Duncan Rebecki for fight of the year.
Amazing.
But I'm biased for Duncan as a Scot. So yeah, great fight.
Yep.
What a comeback of the year. Similar to Matchdell, Sumadirji, however you spell it. Which fighter did that best this year? Probably talked about him. Yuri Prochazka. That was sick. That's a sick KO.
We
down
were
2
all
rounds.
like, what is Yuri doing? Oh my gosh, is his knee messed up? Remember, it was a lot of the talk, even on social media. You guys just look up the social media, like look up, just tweet, look, search for Yuri Prochazka knee, and a lot of us like, whoa, what's going on? He's like kind of slipping and sliding, kind of off balance. Like, he's a wonky off balance guy to begin with, but it did look like, oh wow, he's having a lot of trouble like setting his feet for strikes, and like he's not really able to cut the cage off because just not able to get his footing. I assumed it's the stupid ads. Like I assumed it was just the stupid ads he was slipping on, but I don't know. It doesn't sound like he had like a major knee injury or anything, but that's how weird the performance was.
No knee injury.
Yeah, we assumed something was wrong. It's like, oh well, you know what? He's gonna just kind of coast to a decision loss and live to fight another day. Something must be wrong. But no, he was just figuring things out that first 10 minutes and then realizing what he needed to do in between rounds 2 and 3, and then locking in and saying, okay, I'm gonna do it. It's that easy. Fighting's easy, guys. Fighting's easy when you're.
This is a great pick, Moda Sadikov.
Yes,
terrific fight.
Yes, this is why they keep Moda around, man. We always saw like Moda, like he's had like a weird, like kind of up and down career, but I mean, like he's got some bangers. Like they just throws together a banger. That was great. Yeah, that's a very good choice.
Have we dropped the Montel hand size stat yet? Every podcast to know the relevant thing to say about Montel. He's got bigger fists than Brock Lesnar. Okay.
Oh my gosh! Listen, don't get up here in Raptorland. Well, our former GM Musai Majiri was obsessed with the hand size. We had Kawhi up here, we had Scotty Barnes, and everyone's like hand size. So I don't need to hear more about that in MMA. But yeah, hey, it's a big attribute, man.
Yeah,
cool thing to have.
He's got like some crazy records. I know he has the most knockdowns in bantamweight history, probably by a lot. He knocked down JP Bays like 18 times in one fight. Like that's just every time he hit a dude fell down. Pretty wild.
I think we talked about it. He's not out of the picture if he loses on Saturday, Montel Jackson, but he falls back pretty far, right?
Yeah.
Like he has to go. It's like right back to the drawing board, and now he has to get like 3 more wins again just to get back to a top 5 consideration, like top 5 consideration, something like that, right? Like,
yeah, I think the title hopes end. My decade. Yeah.
He's like 33.
Yeah, but he dropped so far back.
Man, this is a big. So he's okay. I'm looking at the UFC's official rankings. He's 15 right now. Boy, if he beats Deiveson, that's so important.
It's a huge win.
Because even if Deiveson, let's say they just drop Deiveson instead, it would still be like the lowest Montel is going to be is like 8, and I think they might just give him the spot. So he could end up as high as 6, and as low as 8. But that's a good range. He's going to be in the top 10 if he wins. But yeah, if he loses, man, he might not even lose. He might just lose the number next to his name. Like it's just, and that sucks because we know Montel's good, but yeah, it just feels like he hasn't built a lot of currency with the matchmakers, and unfortunately, certainly not with the fans. Who, again, your average fan right now probably does not know Montel Jackson, and that sucks.
Yeah, the other thing about Montel is he doesn't really have the gift of gab. Honestly, yeah. I've interviewed him a few times. Yep. Boy, you gotta work for it to get anything out of him. But I mean that's okay. Not everyone is a shit talker. Not everyone is a charismatic person. And I think honestly, based on like some of the interviews I've done with Montel, there is some of that in him. It just doesn't, you just have to like really work at it to pull it out of him. There was one time where I was asking him about like, I don't know if maybe like the media or the fans or something. And he got like real riled up in like a good way. And he was like hilarious and quick-witted. And I was like, who are you, sir? Because I don't know who you are right now. But yeah, he's so talented. He's so good.
Yep.
And was like a little raw once he got into the UFC. He just goes and trains with Zach Otto, and Zach turned him into this like machine and trying to calm him down in the gym. Like so many different things. He's so talented. He was like one of the naturals of the sport. Well, let's even get the biggest win of his career.
Yeah, a lot of pressure.
It comes down to him. So
a lot of pressure, Again, as we said, there's a lot of pressure on both guys. But
he wasn't even at media day this week. The co-main event fighter was not at media day.
Wait, so I didn't see the media day schedule. Like he didn't show up, or he wasn't scheduled.
He wasn't even on the schedule.
But Deiveson Figueiredo was.
Of course.
Was he the only kind of quote unquote B-side to not show up for his?
I think so.
That is strange. And again, and the funny thing is, if he was probably happy not to be scheduled.
Cool. Yeah, he was like, "Oh, sweet!" Probably like high-fived his manager and was like, "Thank you." This is
one
so
less thing I
cool.
got to worry about. I'm gonna go to the beach. I'm gonna enjoy the beach for another day.
Yes, I'm gonna go to
Yeah.
Rio and do that thing.
Damn.
So
I did not know that. Did not know he was not at the media day.
there's reasons. Maybe just because there's Brazilian reporters and it would have been too much work.
Yeah, I'm seeing it was only okay. No, so Joel Alvarez wasn't there either. Okay, so it was only like the Brazilian A sides of the fight. Okay, hey, listen, probably a good choice. If
Joel Alvarez wasn't there either. Why?
I don't think so. I'm just looking at the list of participants. It looks like it was only Oliveira Gamrot. Yeah, no Joel Alvarez, no Jonathan Deniz was there, Mario Pinto wasn't there, Bia Mosquito was there, Alex Ava wasn't there. So yeah, sadly Walter Walker was there.
Legend.
What was one not there? So yeah, okay. So they made the decision to just have for the Brazilian media to just have Brazilian fighters and Gamrot. So not a bad idea. Honestly, not the worst idea. Because I'll be honest with you, some of these media days, you could have a few people not show up, and I think they'd be a lot better because these media days go on for a long time.
It's one of the worst parts of this job.
Whoa!
No, it really is. If you're not there and are part of it.
Yeah.
And truth be told, like because of all the changes, I am like doing a lot of social media and video stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
So like I have to watch every second live of those media days. If I had hair, I wouldn't. It would be all gone because it's so bad, man. It's like what's worse than hearing the same question 3 times?
Ugh.
Hearing the same question 4 times. It's freaking rough, man. I wish we could go back to the days where the fighter just sits on the stool and like you feel bad for him. Like I remember covering the UFC 220 media day and like DC's there and everyone's lined up for DC and Vulcan and Stipe and Francis. And then you have poor Calvin Kattar and Shane Burgos who are about to fight each other. And like, no one wants to talk to them. Nobody. And you just go over and like, you just feel bad for them. You want to give them an interview because they're there and no one wants to interview them. You know, it's tough scenes, but media is so much better. It's like an hour. You got all different shit. Oh, it was the best. Yeah. What does it mean for you to fight on this card?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. Tough scenes. But all right, I think we're good here, okay?
Yeah.
I think we've given this card about as much love as we possibly can here.
Yeah,
so,
it's going to be good.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a good time. People's pre-fight show, as long as the start time of the card doesn't change, it'll be 30 minutes before it all goes down. So yeah, whenever that happens, people pre-fight show 30 minutes before the event. If they push it back, I'm not really sure.
Yeah, we don't know. It might if they if what happens. I expect that the Simon Oliveira fight gets canceled. It'll start a little bit later for sure.
Yes. So stay tuned for that on the YouTube channel. We'll have a post-fight show after the fact. We will have it on to the next one. I may be there. I may not. Kind of just depends because I have to fly back to South Carolina early Sunday
It could be
morning.
a solo on to the next one, or
maybe. I mean, if you want to wait till like 1 p.m. Eastern, maybe 1:30, I can do it. But if you want to just get it done and get the hell out of there, and enjoy your day.
Yeah, well, okay, let me tell people now then, guys. If anyone wants to, this is now the time. Get in your questions because it'll be like a me and the listeners show, which I
love that.
You and I have both done before. I love doing that. So I mean, I prefer doing the show with you, number one. But if we don't have that option, yeah, I'm happy to do it. Yeah, so there will definitely be an on to the next one on Sunday, whether it's me and Mike or just me, or me and maybe another guest. I don't know.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow, everybody.